Okay. I forgot what I was saying. All right, I'm ready.
Ready.
Okay, 3, 2. Hey everybody, welcome to Rise Real Talk, weekly podcast where we talk about real estate, have a good time, and hopefully help you be more educated when it comes to the world of real estate. My name is Ryan. I'm your real host. The fake host next to me is...
Jordan.
Did
you forget my name?
I forgot for a moment. You may be my brother, but I did forget your name. Hopefully people enjoyed last week's show. Today we're going to go over a new topic, and we are going to be talking about how to interview an agent and what questions to ask for someone that's going to be selling your house. So a listing agent, someone that's going to put your house up for on the market and get it sold.
Next week we'll do the other half of that, which is how do you hire a buyer's agent that's going to represent you to go out and buy a house, right?
Because you actually, you don't have to use the same agent for both of those. And the skill sets, personalities, everything are probably different from one from the other. So
totally different activities. You're marketing, you're putting something up for sale versus helping them find something that's a good fit, doing a lot more negotiating, getting offers accepted.
The only thing that's the same about the two is that both of them require you to be a professional counselor and really calm people down and reduce the stress level for everyone.
So there is some overlapping skill.
Definitely some. Not much, but some.
So most people, and even myself in the past, have just defaulted to choosing someone that they know to be their agent.
I've benefited from that.
And you've benefited from that, being somebody that I happen to know and a real estate agent. So the question that I kind of want to start out with is, why does it even matter who your agent is, especially right now, right? In a seller's market where it seems like everything is selling for more than asking. Why does it even matter who your agent is? They all just put it on the MLS anyways, right?
Yeah. I mean, it definitely can seem that way. Right now, it seems like you could pick a hobo off the street, have him hold a for sale sign in your yard, and it's going to sell. And it probably would. It probably would sell. So, the things that are going to matter is a couple things. One is their knowledge overall of the home selling process.
Right.
Because that's going to come into play when repairs come up or appraisal issues happen or things down the road that aren't necessarily just getting the house listed for sale and getting an offer accepted. That having an agent that's more experienced, that knows what they're doing, can actually help you come out ahead in those scenarios instead of feeling like you're just getting kicked and kicked and kicked and losing and losing and losing.
Right.
Because some agents may not even know the difference, and they might say like, oh, well, I don't know, the buyers are saying they're going to walk away if we don't do this, and because they don't really know any better, then you end up getting the feedback from your agent that, yeah, you just better do it, instead of an agent that says, no, absolutely not, we're not doing that because that's not common right now.
Right. Or what about even experience and just looking at reviewing offers? Because when we just sold our house, the types of offers that were coming in that people were trying to be really appealing to get us to accept their offer, some of them were strange and had weird conditions that looked appealing, but once you actually broke it down for us, it was like, oh, that's actually not that appealing at all. And I think not every real estate agent has enough experience with that to be able to decipher what actually is in the offer, especially when people are getting so creative.
Well, creative is definitely the word for it. Right now, I mean, people are doing stupid stuff. Like, hey, we'll buy crumble for a year for you. I mean, it's weird.
That's a real one?
Oh, yeah. I heard of that.
I would have taken that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, it's like, I don't even care what the sales price is. Yeah, I heard from one of my agent friends that that's one of the offers they receive. The buyers would every week deliver crumble cookies to the seller.
That's awesome.
It's like, that's kind of weird. But so there's weird stuff like that happening in the market that if you're not actively negotiating like every week, every month, you're just not going to know what's going on. So there's new terms happening. These escalation clauses has been a new thing that pretty much all agents are familiar with it now, but it took a lot of the agents that aren't active a long time to get involved and know what that was.
Right.
Because it was so new to them, but to any listing agent that's actually sold a lot of houses, they'd already been seeing it for 6 months before these other agents are like, oh, I should do that to win the next offer.
Right.
So definitely that part of negotiating is going to be a big part. The other thing is making sure that you price your house correctly. So sure, you can put a house up for sale and it's going to sell, but what if you listed it for 50 grand too low and you're feeling pumped because you got 20 grand over list price, but if you would have put it up for 50 grand more, it would have still sold for 10 grand over list price.
Higher. Yeah.
So that's a big thing where it's like, it does matter.
Experience matters.
Yep. And agents that don't actively sell in the market, even an agent that knows what they're doing in their current market or where they live, probably is out of touch to sell a house in Salt Lake or St. George or somewhere else, because just looking at comps doesn't really give you the best feel for what's going on.
Yeah, you need to be in touch with like the trends in the marketplace.
Yep.
You need to know what other stuff might be coming on the market. You just need to like have an actual pulse on the heartbeat of that market.
Because I mean, as an agent, you should be able to say like, okay, this is a new construction 2-story house with no basement on the west side of Logan. That's going to sell for anywhere from $200 to $207 a square foot. It's like, so you just need to know that.
And just looking at data inside of on a computer or on the internet doesn't tell you.
You're not going to find it. And it's months behind.
Right.
It's like 6 months too old.
Right.
So pricing is going to be a big one where, and in this market, they're probably going to be like really big pushovers where if you tell them like, well, everything's selling for so much, I want to list my house for $70,000 more than what the market is. They'll be like desperate to get the deal done. So they're going to say, yeah, let's do it.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you're on the market for 2 or 3 weeks with a price reduction. I just had a conversation with one of my buyers yesterday that said, hey, this house is on the market for 22 days. What's wrong with it? It's like, well, 22 days isn't that long, but it's just priced too high.
Yeah, exactly.
It was too high even for this market. So you're going to run into issues like that where now instead of having multiple offers going over list price, getting the terms you want, you're actually negotiating down.
Right.
So those are kind of the big main factors that are going to matter is like, yeah, any house is going to sell, but they need to know how to price it properly to maximize the terms and the price and everything.
Right.
They need to know how to handle negotiations along the way in regards to both repairs and then as well as the appraisal.
So you don't lose the deal before the due diligence deadline happens anyways.
Yep, exactly.
Right.
So those are kind of the main things outside of just getting your house sold, that why it does matter who you hire.
Right. So now that we've established it definitely matters.
Definitely.
If you're somebody who's getting ready to sell your house, and so you're starting to talk to some real estate agents, and hopefully you are talking to some real estate agents, not just one or not just the one person you happen to know, we've come up with some questions that you can ask to your real estate agent as you interview them, and these should be just treated just like that, just like interview questions. So let's go through these questions. We can talk them out a little bit and see why they're so important. So first one that we have is you should be asking the agent that you're interviewing, how many listings have you sold in the last 12 months? Why does that matter? Did we already kind of cover that pretty well?
Yeah, we definitely talked about it. So I'm like, here's the thing. You might get referred to your friend, your cousin, your neighbor, your whoever. And they
your mom's best friend Jan.
Yeah, your mom's best friend Jan. Like, you're going to get referred to this person, and because they may seem confident and they may seem like they know what's going on, because to you it seems like that because they know more than you.
Sure.
They may know like half as much as a full-time agent or a dedicated agent, but they know way more than you, so they seem like they know what they're going on. By asking that question, you're going to be able to kind of flush out that they actually know what they're doing.
Right.
And so definitely worth asking. Number one, you're going to be able to know if they're actually dedicated, they know the trends of the market. But two, it's going to get you to actually have them open up about if they're successful or not.
Exactly.
And one of the things to remember is like, you're hiring this person, you're paying them thousands of dollars. It's probably the most money you're going to pay to another individual to do a job for you. And so if you're not asking them some interview type questions, I don't know who else you would ask them to. It's like someone that's asking for you to pay up to 3%, 6% of the total sales price. You got to ask them and not just be like, oh, they're really nice and friendly, and so it doesn't matter how many houses they've sold.
In my opinion, it's just if it's like such a huge financial transaction and so much money is on the line one way or the other, do you really want to have somebody sell your house who hasn't sold a house in the last 12 months or maybe sold one 6, 7, 8 months ago?
1 or 2.
Yeah, definitely not. So next question, this is the next question you should ask the agent. What is your marketing plan?
Yeah. So this is gonna be an easy make or break question when you're talking to people of if they're real or not. Right. If they're a professional agent or they're just
got their license, they hung it up at some brokerage, and sometimes they do deals for friends and family. Not that that's not a bad way to get started, but those types of agents, even them, they should still have a marketing plan, right?
They should have a marketing plan. Even if you're part-time, even if you only do every now and then, they should have an action plan of what they're going to do.
Right.
If they're going to ask you to pay them thousands of dollars. So it's more fleshing out.
And tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, tens of thousands of dollars. So it's more getting rid of the people that are lazy and really aren't that good. So you're going to be able to ask them like, hey, what's the marketing plan? What are you actually going to do to get my house sold?
Right.
And now some agents might kind of blow that off because it's like, oh, the market's so hot, it's all going to sell. It's like, well, who cares? You can't take it for granted. You can't just assume that people are going to come and buy the house. And, you always say this. It's like, why would you only invite one bidder to an auction?
Exactly.
By hiring an agent without a marketing plan, you're limiting your pool of bidders.
And you want to bring as many people to see your house. You want to get as many eyeballs on it as possible.
Yep.
Online traffic, in-person traffic. You want people to see your house, and you want to get as many people bidding on that house as possible.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so it's like, this is where you can really just find someone that's like, man, I love you, Aunt Jan, but like, you told me that your marketing plan, here's the marketing plan of most agents. It's called the 3P plan. Okay.
I like where this is going.
Or the triple P.
The triple P.
Okay. First is they put a sign in your yard. First
Okay.
P. Second, they place the house on the MLS.
Okay.
The third P, they pray that someone sells it for them. So that's their marketing plan. They're going to put it up for sale, and then they even tell you, like, oh, I'm listing on thousands of websites. It's like,
and the MLS actually does that automatically.
yeah, the MLS does it. So it's like, oh, I'm such a great agent. I push this out everywhere to 1,000 websites. Like, literally every agent that puts a house onto the MLS does that.
So what's the minimum that a marketing plan should include?
Well, that's a good question. Okay, so if I was someone selling my house, I would expect my agent to be running Facebook and Instagram ads. Like, that's where literally everyone in the world is on Facebook and Instagram.
Yep.
So if you're not running ads there, we're missing out on people.
That's how you get the digital traffic, right?
Yeah, so that's huge. So they've got to be doing that. They've got to be, I want to see them do an open house, because there's so many people that are afraid to talk to an agent, so they don't want to call and request a showing, but would go to an open house.
Right.
So they've got to be doing open houses. They've got to be getting a professional photographer and videographer. And they need to be getting some, I mean, I guess maybe this isn't the minimum, but I would expect them to be doing some form of outbound prospecting, calling leads in their database, reaching out to friends and family that they know that have been looking, talking to people in the neighborhood if they know anyone that wants to move there. So, like, some very bare minimums of what I would hope an agent
on
would
something
do.
that you said, my absolute biggest pet peeve of all is when I see a house that's $800,000 come on the market, and you go and you're excited to look at it, like, let's see the inside of this thing, and the pictures are clearly shot on a cell phone from the real estate agent or an assistant, maybe even, that they sent to the house to take pictures, and they're formatted incorrectly. By the time it gets onto the website and you go to look at it, they're blurry, they're the wrong angle, they're zoomed in and fuzzy, so you can't actually see anything. I just think that if you're paying a real estate agent thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars to sell your house for you, at a minimum, they should have professional photography done.
Yeah.
Right?
So I know you told me to go easy on this part, because I'm very passionate about this part, and it pisses me off. So Jordan warned me to try to keep it...
Let's keep it PG. Maybe
I'll
a little
try.
PG-13?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. But this, I mean, you have got to be kidding me. Like, in this example that you're sharing, happens all the time. But, for example, this is an $800,000 house. That means the average agent is charging 6% of that price to sell. That's $48,000.
Right.
That agent maybe gets both sides of the transaction and makes the $48,000. Worst case, they're getting their 3%, right? They're taking their half, the buyer's agent takes the other half. They're getting $24,000 for selling your house. And they can't pay a photographer $100 to take pictures?
No.
Like, are you kidding me? Like, the audacity of these people to then turn around and complain that the real estate market, that people aren't willing to pay agents enough money. And it's the same people. It's always the same people. The people that don't have a marketing plan and take crappy pictures are the same people that turn around and say, like, well, people always fight me on the commissions. They don't want to pay me 6%, and I work so hard. I deserve that money. It's like, bull crap. You don't work hard.
And it's because the homeowner doesn't see the value, right? They're not seeing, wait a minute, I'm paying you $24,000, and what do I get for my $24,000? And that's the purpose of this, right? Is that we want homeowners to be educated. We want them to interview multiple agents. We want them to ask them these tough questions so that when they go to write the check or not write the check, but it comes out of their equity to pay that agent, that they feel really good about, hey, this agent that I hired did a great job.
Yep.
And they can know that in advance instead of just hoping that their mom's friend Jan was able to do a good job, and they don't know. And these questions should help flesh that out.
Could you imagine being that person that you hired your friend or family member, whoever you're referred to, and you agree to pay them 6% or whatever it is, and they tell you, hey, great news, your listing is up, live for sale, go share it with friends or family, and you pull it up and the pictures are blurry.
Just look awful.
Or they're crooked.
And you're about to share it with your friends and family. Hey, go check out our house just got listed, and you don't even want to do it because you're embarrassed.
It's like, what? Like, I feel bad for people, and I wish I could be a fly on the wall to hear what that conversation goes like. I imagine too many people are scared to say anything.
Right.
Because it's their friend or family member or something like that, so they don't want to say, like, hey, I don't like the pictures.
Right.
Like, they look bad. Like, part of our process, we ask them to verify the pictures look good and see if there's anything they want to change.
Yep.
Make sure we don't have a toilet seat lit up.
Before it goes live.
Yeah, or we don't have, like, the photographer standing in the background or a random homeless person in the back window.
That's 2 references to homeless people today.
It's a pandemic.
Okay.
Or an epidemic, whatever that word is.
So next question, another important question to ask your agent before you hire them. How much do you charge, and how much is for the buyer's agent?
Yeah, so you just gotta ask them. Everyone has different pricing strategies. Most agents just go for 6% and pray for whatever you agree to. Most of them are willing to drop it, but they start off asking for the world and hope
you just say yes.
Can. Yeah, and if you say no, then they drop it until you say yes.
And hopefully, if you're asking them this question at this point, you've heard what's their marketing plan, you've heard what their experience level is. So when they come and tell you actually how much they charge, you're going to be able to gauge, okay, that matches the type of value I'm going to receive from this agent.
Yeah, because if you're hiring, let's say you're going for a luxury agent, someone that actually, when you ask them what's their marketing plan, they put out this presentation and they show you what it looks like and what they're going to do, and then they tell you a higher price than maybe a discount brokerage or someone like us, then at least in your mind, you're like, oh, well, look at all these services that matches up to the price.
That's
what never happens, though, is that these agents that have crappy services, they never have a low price.
Right.
They always are the most expensive.
They're just asking the same as everybody else, right?
Yeah.
Right. Next one is to ask the agent is, do you have any guarantees?
Yep.
What does that mean?
So there's a lot of different strategies out there. I actually don't see a lot of them in Cache Valley. There's some, but some common guarantees that people will make is like, hey, we guarantee that we'll buy your house if we don't sell it in X number of days. It's usually for a super low price, but it's a guarantee. Maybe they have a 30-day listing guarantee that if we don't sell it in 30 days, you can walk or whatever.
Gotcha.
So always ask to see if there's something that where they say, we're so confident in what we do that we promise you X, Y, or Z.
Yeah, there should be a guarantee, right?
People
should guarantee their work. Last question. How long is your listing agreement? I didn't know that this was a thing. So how does that work?
Yeah. So it's totally negotiable how long that contract's for. So sometimes it's 30, 60, 90. Most agents standard will put in 1 year.
And you're talking about a contract with the agent to list your house.
Yep. So
not the contract to buy your house or anything like that. This is a contract between the home seller
correct
and the agent for using their services.
Yep.
Okay.
So you're agreeing that you're going to give them 30, 60, 90, 120, 180 days to market your house and get it sold. And if they don't, then at the end of that contract, you could renew, you could look for a new agent, or whatever the situation is.
And it seems like, to go along with the question about the guarantees, it almost seems like there should be a way out, that if you're not happy with the service that they're providing, if they've stopped answering the phone, or if things aren't going well, deals are falling through, and they're not really able to give you a good explanation of why that's happening, that you should be able to get out of that agreement, right?
If any agent's asking for a year or even a 6-month commitment right now, it's like, why?
So make sure you have a way out.
Yep.
Awesome.
Make sure you're protected in the case that they suck.
So is there anything else that you want homeowners to know before they hire someone to sell their house?
I guess the one thing that I'd say is kind of a great way to kill multiple of these birds all at once. That's not the saying.
Kill multiple of these birds all at once?
Yeah, with one stone.
Okay.
Whatever that saying is.
I think you're thinking bird in the hand, 2 in the bush.
Yeah, something. Clock.
There goes
broken
the rock.
Clocks right twice a day, something like that. So is to ask them to show you some of their marketing from a recent listing.
Okay.
Say, hey, show me the marketing, show me the Facebook ad you ran for your
it's almost like
recent
a
listing.
Like a resume, right?
Yeah.
Like
a proof of work. Like you would never ask for like a tile setter to just not show you pictures of their work.
Yeah.
Right. Same thing. You need to be asking a listing agent for pictures of their latest listing. What does your pictures look like? Do you do video? Do you have a 3D tour? Show me that. What does it look like?
Right.
And so that way you can kind of see it all. If they're like, oh, I don't have a recent listing, then they're not going to have anything to show you. Or if they don't take professional photography, they're going to look really bad.
Yep.
So kind of an easy way to do it in a friendly way, because most likely this person you're talking to is someone you know. And so it gives you a chance to be like, hey, will you just show me some examples of a recent house you sold?
Simple.
And that way it's not confrontational or anything like that. Because to me, the number one thing is you should always interview that person that you get referred to.
Right.
It's like I feel like by that connection you have with them, they deserve the right to interview for the job, but they don't deserve to just get the job. Right. So that's the way I treat it. All of my friends and family, I expect and hope that they'll at least interview me for the job, but I would never expect them to just give me the listing because I'm their family member.
Just blanket, you get it because I know you.
Yeah, I need to go and prove that I'm worth it. So that's a great question to ask to give them the chance to prove that they're worth it.
Awesome. Well, that's all the questions that I have.
Cool.
What should people do if they have more questions about how to interview an agent?
And you can slide into my DMs.
The DMs.
The DMs. You know, I don't know. Whatever you want. Call, text, email. If you want to get your free home value, you can do that on our website. If you want to get a market update, do that on our website. So
yeah, that's a perfect place to start, right? If people have questions, they're thinking about selling, start with the home value. It's really simple. We can get that over for you.
Yep.
Let you know what your home's worth, and then go from there.
Yep. That's it. Okay. Well, thank you for everyone for watching. All of our 3 fans out there. maybe there'll be more. But
do you think there's 3?
Well, my wife, your wife, and
Grandma.
Grandma's got to watch.
Grandma's always watching.
So, anyways, thanks to everyone. We'll be back next week to talk about how to hire a buyer's agent, how to interview and find the right buyer's agent. That's it for this episode of Rise Real Talk. We'll see you next time.